Hello and welcome to my craft room. My name is Deanna Gonzalez and I'm really excited to be showing you just kind of die cutting machines, review, like a few. I can't do all of them in one video or nobody would want to watch this video. It would be so long. However, I did want to show you starting with a cheap, more affordable, no die cutting system is going to be really cheap, but a more affordable system and going, up from there. I will start with the Big Shot, the eBosser. These two things do very similar things. This one has a few different things. There's also double the price. So you would have to weigh out whether you felt like the eBosser was more for you or the Big Shot, or any of the, the Excalibur, any of the companies that come out with some sort of a cranking system. Some of them have, more of a machine where it can run through. Most of them, I believe the only one I can think of would maybe be the Sizzix. It looks like a suitcase, and I believe it's just like the old Big Shot with the button, where you have to hold it and it goes through, but I don't own that, and the one that I own is not been sold for years, so I didn't want to demonstrate that one. However, I did want to sort of, in case you are absolutely new to die cutting machines, this is a great series for you because I'm going to show you the different fun things that you can do with each machine, as well as some of the limits. There are some machines are a little bit better at other things, and this way you can get an idea of maybe what would be best for you. Sometimes it's hard when you're just starting and getting so excited about all these wonderful tools. And let me just say, this is the day for crafting. I remember when there were no die cutting machines. The best thing that came out that I can remember would be Jolie's Boutique stickers, because they were the dies and all set up in flowers and other shapes that you could make your cards look that much fancier. However, it was a lot more expensive in the long run because the stickers would go fast. You could buy one sticker set, be done in one beautiful card, or you'd have to have a couple, and there's all the money right there. Whereas these machines are great investments if you're going to craft on a regular basis. Now, as I've said in previous videos, if you are not someone who wants to craft on a regular basis, it's much better just to buy the kits. There are some amazing kits out there from Anna Griffin and hot off the press. Like, some other companies have come together with some amazing kits where you get the stickers, the cards, everything, and then you put them together. A lot of times they'll give you ideas of what you can do, and that can be really helpful if you're not going to do this on a regular basis. You're just kind of interested in playing around on a weekend, or you have gifts that you want to do and you thought, hey, handmade cards are awesome, but you don't want to get too far into it. Now, I ramble way too easily, forgive me. So let me get to the point. So the Big Shot is what I will share first, and there are machines that will only emboss or only do the thin lit dies, or and sometimes you can find this for more affordable. However, the Big Shot will make sure you can cut the thicker dies, such as these and so forth, so you won't be as limited. So why would you want one of these machines over a Cricut or a Silhouette? Now, mind you, you might not. It depends on what you're doing. I feel like these are really great, especially for scrapbookers, because you can take a photo, and with these shapes, you can cut it out exactly where you want. Now, mind you, the Silhouette, the Cricut, they have functions that are supposed to do the same kind of thing, where you can put your picture on the mat, run it through, and it's supposed to cut it correctly. However, getting it to be exactly where you want it can take a lot of time and a lot of resources. You can go through pictures, because it's not as easy as just laying this exactly where you want it to be. So here is a scrapbook page I've done. So I wanted to show you so you just take the picture, you put your die over this, and I will run through showing exactly how you're going to move things through, but then you've got this shape instead of the same basic squares that you often will have if you don't have any kind of die cutting machine. So I do think that is very, very helpful. I do feel like these machines are much more limiting with card making. Now I'm going to show you, you know, cards and a little box that I've made with the machines, but in terms of the amount of dies that are available at an affordable price for the other machines, it's phenomenal in comparison to these. But there is one thing that those machines cannot do, and that is emboss. They will not emboss paper, and I wanted to show you, isn't this just beautiful? I love it when it's on the metallic paper, it just turns out really beautiful. However, I did emboss this card here and sand this. If you have a white base cardstock, it works well. You can sand that out and get the embossed papers. I also was able to emboss this card, and I will show you in more detail how to get this edge with the machines, but as you can see, embossing can really add just a lot of beauty to your cards, scrapbooking, whatnot. So another thing that is out there that you will not be able to use the other machines for are companies like Stampin' Up!, Sizzix, Spellbinders. There are companies out there that have made beautiful stamps that coincide with a shape. So here, let me show you here, instead of trying to throw it out there. So here's one of the Stampin' Up! Stamps, and then you've got their die that goes right over it. Now, this can make it so that you can make a card really easy, really beautiful, and, you know, it's something that you can't really do with the others. Now, let me show you the basic idea here of these machines. So I'll start with the Big Shot. It's the most common that I know of. It's the cheapest. Oftentimes you can get a Big Shot for, I think Amazon I checked, and there was one for $79 right now. Prices can vary. You'll want to keep checking. That's a really good price for these machines. Most of the time you'll find kits where you can get the machine and some dies and embossing folders, you know, like different sets, which can be a really great investment. If you're just starting, you have nothing, they usually give you a really great deal that way. So you might want to look into that if you have nothing at all. However, another thing that I love about the Big Shot is that they have this magnetic platform. Now I will show you the difference between this machine and this one with that, and this is the only reason I still use the Big Shot, because as you can see, let me show you, and again, this would work really well with the, photo as well. The magnetic platform makes it so that as you're putting down, let me move some of this out of the way, as you're putting down your die, this is sticking onto the magnetic mat. It's keeping it there so that you don't have to keep guessing, recutting, restamping, and getting very frustrated. However, you can just use sticky notes and put them down, and they work great. This just saves you one extra step. So all we do is we run this on through, and this is going to cut it for us. And as you can see, it's that simple. You just take it right out, and how beautiful. And now with these dies, we could always go through and cut another piece of paper and then get that, and that can be really beautiful. However, I wanted to show you just another idea where you can take, another thing you can do with these to make beautiful cards is you take one of these shapes, you fold your paper in half. Let me move this out of the way. You fold your paper in half, and here I can show you, because the magnetic is not going to go through this thick of a paper. So I'll show you with sticky notes what we can do here. We can just line this. Now the whole point of this is you want to make certain that you have some space here that is not being cut so that you have a card. And again, as you can see, you just cut this beautiful stamped image and you've got this beautiful card already done. But just to show you how we can do this with these shapes, I just wanted to show, you just come in here like this, and we're just going to lay it about, well, that should work, right here. And we just put our little sticky notes. This way, it will not shift on us. You can do it with the regular basic, you know, like you roll it through and hope for the best. However, I don't find that that works very well, so if you've got a technique that works, I say use it. So here we go. We're just going to run that through. And now we've got ourselves a beautiful shaped card. And this can make it so that I mean, the dies can constantly be versatile, but isn't that just a gorgeous little shaped card? So these can be so helpful in so many ways, you know, just being creative. But I do find, to be honest, the other machines make it so that it's a lot less work, shall I say. I feel like a lot of demonstrators, a lot of people who are showing you constantly the cool things you can do with some of these dies, they are some of the most creative people out there. I mean, there are people who can show you amazing just art that they've done with punches, you know, and things like this. However, I do feel like it makes it a lot easier if you don't have to worry about it. So let me show you really quick, again, what you can do with this. So the different tabs tell you what you're supposed to do, what level of thing you need for embossing, for die cutting. So you just take, so this is just a basic piece of paper here. Really pretty metallic paper, but still there's nothing on it. And we're just going to take this and run it right on through. It's that simple, and then you have the most beautiful embossed paper. It's gorgeous. Look how lovely that is. I just love embossing. And if you don't want to emboss, you know, it definitely opens up a lot more options for you crafting if you don't care. Now, again, if you already have an embossing machine, not a different die cutting machine, a Cricut machine, a Silhouette, any of the other ones, you can always get the machine that only embosses, and that's a lot more affordable. Now, another thing I wanted to show that this will do, you've got extra long mats that go in the Big Shot, and these are movers and shapers, which means that we take a cardstock, lay it down, and we can move this anywhere we want, and it'll cut, I should do it this way, it'll cut a hole right wherever we put it. So up here, about here, you're going to get a cut like around in this area. Down here, you'd have an open cut down here. It really, you can do so many beautiful things with it, and there are just many different shapes. And you just run that through. This, it just takes cutting mats on bottom and top, and you run that through. You don't need the different platforms, so, because that's what originally the machines were made to work with, these larger dies. Here's another die. It's another pop-up. And how cute is that? It's just super fun, different kinds of things. You can make bags and boxes. However, again, they're going to be a certain size to go through these machines, whereas the 12 by 12 or 12 by 24, you can get larger boxes, which I find very helpful, but if you're not big on that, then that's fine. I wanted to show you how to get this kind of a thing, and let me introduce the eBosser. Now, the Big Shot, again, is cheaper. If you're not going through a line of like making hundreds of things, you should be fine. I did find when I first started crafting and die cutting and I was using the cranking system, my shoulder got really bad, and I was actually, in the medical profession, asked if there was any way I could, you know, get a machine that would be automatic instead of me cranking it. It was that bad. I was cutting that much. So I actually got the Big Shot with a button, but I do find, again, if you're doing way too many things, you have to hold the button down. So your fingers can feel funny after a while. I mean, it's way better than cranking, the cranking system, I feel. But the eBosser is great because you put it in, it does its thing, and that's it. You don't have to hold anything. So let's just turn this on. But I will show you. Now, what's the difference between the eBosser and the Big Shot? The biggest difference, besides the double the price. And this is a Craftwell machine. There's a Teresa Collins one on HSN. You can get this eBosser, but it's not, it kind of came out, and I don't think it probably got as much attention as maybe they were hoping, because it's harder to find the actual machine now. However, there's a Teresa Collins version, and that one is still quite available easily. But the difference is you get 8.5 by 11 embossing sheets. Now how beautiful is that? Now this is just a regular matte cardstock. This is shimmery, beautiful. So that's one big difference. Another one is that the Spellbinders really long dies. They will not go through this machine this way. Like, you know, you'll run into issues right here. So if you're going to do a card, it would have to be a closed card cut. And I like to lay out a card flat, run it through the machine, get my edge, and that's great. And this machine will do it. As you can see, it's that big. So it's wonderful. There have been some boxes I've found, some dies that only work with that. So that's been really helpful. So with this machine, you'll get a little pamphlet. It tells you what sandwiches you're going to need for which dies for the companies. And yes, they have the thicker ones, which I think are fantastic. But so you just kind of go through that and it'll show you what you need for your sandwich. So let me show you. They do have a magnetic platform only. It's only for this on this side. It keeps it, and it's not even that, look, this moves around so much, so it's not even that amazing. So I just keep it there because the sandwich says you need it, and so I don't want to mess with that. However, to do this card, what I would do is use the sticky notes. These things are wonderful. And for any of you who have been crafting for a long time before the magnetic platform, I'm sure you're well aware of this technique. Just going ahead and laying this on here to make sure that it stays put. And we're going to lift that up. It has to be, the cut has to be this way on this machine. So we'll go ahead, and this is our sandwich. And I'm going to bend my card, whoops. We just put it in. That's it. It does its own thing. It runs it. You get to work on whatever you're doing, and that's great. So this is how I got this edge here to make this beautiful, let me show you here, this beautiful card. Just printing up paper, doing more die cuts, and then stamping, cutting out, just having a lot of fun with that. So that's how you do something like that. And we just take it off, and voila! Now we've got our beautiful, our beautiful little shaped card that we can now decorate. And the way I did the little green is I just cut a smaller piece, again, ran it through with the edge cutting, and that just adds so much more right there. Now, another thing that I think is great about these machines is that nowadays, I'm going to lose a lot of these cute little dies. Nowadays they've got dies that do a lot of things, such as the great pop-ups. So as you can see, this is so cute, and this die comes with the basic card cut here. So this will cut this out. And then you've got the rectangle that'll fit perfectly inside here, and then you have this one that fits here, as well as many of these little shapes that you can keep layering and get just really cute looks. As well as one little thing, I didn't decorate it with this, but you can also cut this edge and just give it that extra little special touch there, which I didn't do, but however, I wanted to show you really quick just how some of these beautiful little pop-up cards can work out. So obviously I'm a huge card fan. I love making cards, and so that's why I'm showing you this. I just did the one scrapbook page. When I bought this, there were no other options. Well, not these actual machines, but my original. Like, I started with the Sizzix, that lever thing with the big metal block. If any of you know what I'm talking about and had that, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your Sizzix stories and your die cutting machine stories. And, you know, this was before the first Cricut that was ridiculously expensive and very, very limited on how many cartridges were out there. And there were barely any dies out there, and where I lived, I just kept finding that there would be like only five, but because of the comparison of the Jolies, like I would try to justify it, say it's okay, this is awesome, and then all my cards look the same. So yeah, that's not very fun. So here's the card. You just run it through, and then you can just fold it and then add all the little pieces. This is kind of loud, huh? I have no idea how the microphone is going to pick up on this, but yeah, pretty loud. Sorry about that. So here we go. This is just to show you. Oh, I forgot about this one. This particular die, this is actually good to show you. This particular die, for some reason, does not easily cut through the thick cardstock on that edge. So I'm not really sure why, but you just fold it, it scores and cuts at the same time, and now you've got this gorgeous little flip card that you can then decorate. So that, I think that wraps up what I was going to show you with these machines. Again, if you're gonna craft a lot and you're gonna wear your shoulder out cranking all the time, you might want to look into the eBosser machine, especially if you've already invested in dies, embossing folders, and the such, because that way you're just buying the machine, you're not rebuying all that stuff. However, I do feel like, I don't know, I love all the machines. If someone were to sit me down and say, you can only have one machine, I tell you, that would be one of the worst moments ever, like just trying to like figure out which one would be perfect for me, you know, because I use all of them. None of these are paperweights. None just sit and don't get used. I use all of them. I love these machines. And for all of you who craft and have been crafting, I just want to thank you, you know, as a fellow crafter, for helping support these companies, because if it weren't for all the purchases that you make, we wouldn't be able to have all these choices. And I love all these choices. I love all these die cutting machines. I love everything that they do. I love being able to take a simple piece of paper, a simple piece of cardstock, suddenly making it either embossed or die cut it into beautiful shapes. They can come together for the most amazing gifts. I feel like even if you don't want to do an entire scrapbook album, if you just buy a 12 by 12 frame and do one page, just one beautiful page, give it to someone, that's one of those gifts that no one ever forgets. They love it. They put it up. They see that someone loved them that much that they wanted to put together something that special. So again, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a basic idea. That I did do a Big Shot tutorial before, where it's just the up camera, and I ran through some things. I ran through a few more items, so I'll have a link to that video in case you're curious. Yeah, these machines are awesome. I definitely think if you're a scrapbooker, you're going to want to really look into some of these because of the shapes and everything. And again, as you can see, you can make beautiful cards and little treat boxes and everything with these machines as well. I would suggest checking out, if you're interested in these machines and the dies and the embossing folders, I would definitely check out Joann.com, and I'll have a link to that, because they almost always have 40% off their dies and embossing folders. You know, if not that, then 30% off. You know, a lot of times you can get free shipping if you purchase a certain amount. It's a good way to stock up, especially when you're starting. It's usually the most affordable, such as, now, forgive me if I quote this incorrectly. I could be wrong about this. But I believe that these kinds of dies are they're around like the high 20s. At least, you know, they might even be $29.99, I'm not sure. They're very expensive. However, these will be on sale sometimes for like $17, sometimes even $14.99 on Joann.com. I believe anyway that they get that cheap. But again, if you're looking at now just bear with me for a second. This is the way I view it. If you want to look at when you're looking at these machines, this one specifically looks cheaper by far from, let's say, the Silhouette machine, right? Because the Silhouette machine is going to be a couple $100. And then this is only $100. But if you look at how much money you'll spend over time, the Silhouette's actually cheaper, because the dies, when you're buying the die sets, you're paying, okay, let's say you're paying full price, it'd be 99 cents for each die. Whereas these dies, when you're lucky enough to get an amazing sale, it's usually $5-6, and that's a really good sale. I really feel like in the long run you're going to collect more dies with those machines. Now you are having to now deal with sticky mats, and in my next video I will be addressing some of those pet peeves that, you know, can be a little difficult, and kind of show you how I overcame that kind of trouble. But anyway, I don't want to make this too long. Sorry, I get so chatty with this stuff. I love talking about crafting. I love talking about machines. I could talk to you guys forever about this kind of thing. I love beautiful gifts. I love beautiful crafting. So again, hopefully this helps give you an idea about the Sizzix Big Shot, the eBosser. Again, there are different machines that will work the same way or similar. You just want to make sure that as you're looking at the different machines, you see which dies they cut and which they do not cut, because the Big Shot will cut these thick ones, whereas some of the other smaller, you know, ones will not. And that could be a problem. And some only emboss, and some emboss and do the little dies. So you just kind of want to make sure that what you're getting is what you wanted. So thank you for spending time with me and checking out these beautiful machines, and I hope you're going to be looking forward to the next one. I have a lot of work to do to show how amazing the Silhouette can be. So I'm going to do the Silhouette, and then I will get into the Cricut. I have the Explore. I don't have the Explore Air because it's the same thing, only it has a built-in wireless, whereas Explore you can stick the little wireless thing in there and it's basically the same thing. But my things are all together now, my computer and my die cutting machine, so it's not a big deal that it's not wireless. So anyway, so I'll show you what I do with that, and it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to just keep talking to you guys about this stuff. It's so much fun. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day. I hope you've been having a wonderful time crafting in my absence. I've missed you guys, so it's really good to be able to come back and share with you guys just the things that we're very excited about. So take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.